Everyone, welcome to the webinar today. We're just going to give folks a few minutes to log in. Just to let everybody know, this is being recorded and it is going to be going up on YouTube. So if you have any questions or concerns about that, you can throw them in the chat. And for the folks that are on right now, we'd love to see where everyone's coming from. And hey, Justin, I got your test.
Great. All right, perfect.
And for the folks that are on hold right now, we do have more webinars coming up in the future. We also have Bo Freeman on here on the marketing team for Johnson Controls. Bo, you're going to be running a webinar on the lockdown coming up. That's in a week or 2 weeks coming up?
2 weeks. Yep, 2 weeks. We will be talking about IQ Lockdown August 9th. I'll hopefully send out a follow-up email after this and get the link in there as well so you guys can join. That'd be awesome. And Johnny, you got some people commenting here where they're calling in from. We got Thomas from Ottawa, Canada. We got Kevin from Vancouver. Kevin, nice to see you here. Thanks for showing up. We got Jim out in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope it's good weather out there. I mean, we're here in Utah, so I'm envious of the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Let's see. We got Jason from South Dakota. Adam from Sicusa and Clemens, North Carolina. Great. So got lots of people joining in here, Johnny, and letting us know where they're calling from.
Anybody from Texas, or has the internet melted there yet?
Oh, I don't see any Texas. You might have, yeah, the internet might have melted.
That's not good. When the internet melts, we all run to the library.
Oh, it looks like we've got Renee from Jamaica. I apologize if I didn't pronounce that correctly, but thank you for joining us from Jamaica. That's awesome. We're so happy you're here with us. Got our first Texas. We got Brady from Amarillo, Texas. So I guess the internet is still indeed intact in Texas.
That is good to hear. I have a lot of friends. I work for a company out of Dallas for 6 years, so I have a lot of friends in Texas. I would love to be able to keep up with them. That temperature is just too much, man. It's very, very warm down there.
Great. Jim from Ireland. That's, I mean, that might be the farthest away. Wait, we got, is it Bassi? Sorry if I mispronounced that, but you're calling in from Nigeria. That might be the farthest, away from us. I'm not great at geography, but yeah, that's pretty cool. We got some people calling in from different places.
Very nice. Well, on the call today, we also have Joel. Joel's one of our TAMs here at Johnson Controls. Joel Van Valkenburg, and if you're asking, it is spelled exactly the way it sounds. Exactly, I believe.
Very
And Joel, you're going to be doing, you have some tech demos coming up as well, right?
Yeah, we have our series, our weekly workshop series that are going to be kicking off here shortly. So make sure you sign up for those. Check out the old ones on YouTube as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys, this is going to be on YouTube. Every single one of our videos that we, all of these webinars, we post to YouTube. So if you do miss anything, or there was a colleague you think could have gotten something out of these webinars, please forward the link and find the links on YouTube as well, and on our social media. I think we're going to give it a couple more seconds, and we can jump right into this this webinar. This webinar kind of was devised because we sell a lot of different products. Johnson Controls, after the DSC, Qualsys acquisitions, and ACBS, we've pulled in a lot of different products from kind of all over the industry as far as intrusion goes. So we cover a lot of bases. One big thing with what we're offering, everything kind of starts with your basic system. All of these add-on products that we're going to be talking about today, we call them secret devices because some folks don't even know that they exist. And a lot of folks, if you've spent time at any of the distributors walking up and down the aisles, these are the things that you're walking past every day that could be adding some value to your sales, adding some value to your customers, and definitely adding some dollars to your pocket. So
hey, Johnny, we can't see your camera or your screen, buddy.
Oh, you can't see my camera. How about now?
Yes, and I didn't know if you had the presentation going or not yet.
Nope, not yet. So I'm sorry to shut the camera off. I forgot about it. So yeah,
Thanks.
I'll
Sorry to
hop right into the presentation now. And here we go with the 5 secret devices that will change your business. And what are these devices and what do they do? Kind of jumping in, we wanted to go with a poll question really quick. If you folks pay close attention to the polls, it's going to be popping up. Would love to know what your go-to piece of equipment is. What's the one thing that you add to every single sale that you sell? Every single customer that you deal with. Are you a video doorbell company? Do you focus on the outdoor cameras, smart locks? If it's something else, please let us know in the chat. I did come from the dealer world. Our 3-1-in-1 with a video doorbell, a remote lock, and a thermostat was kind of the out-of-the-box thing that we sold. That was our package. If any of these things don't kind of line up with what you sell, please let us know in the chat. Yeah, it looks like a lot of cameras and a lot of video doorbells, I would assume. And Joel, you're watching the chat. What are some of the other devices that people are throwing in there?
I'm seeing smoke detectors. Let's see, smart locks, things of that nature.
Cool.
Yeah, door
Yeah,
contact, mostly common devices.
Okay, cool. And none of the top 5 secret devices, right?
No. Someone
Yeah,
said a drawbridge opener, so that's a new one.
I'll take that. Do we make those? Drawbridge
Not
opener.
yet.
Oh, that might have been a garage door opener in spell check. that's good enough on that one. So outside of drawbridge openers, I also wanted to introduce another presenter who's going to be with us today, Justin Sherban. Justin is the CEO of Sentinel Security Systems. Justin is joining us from an airport today, so he will not pick up his camera. We appreciate you hopping on. So thanks so much. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and
we've been around for a long time. We used to use 2GIG, but we switched over to Qualsys quite a few years ago and had a lot of success with it. Really happy with PowerG and everything that's going on with that.
Excellent. Yeah, Justin's going to be talking again from a dealer perspective, as far as on the marketing and sales side, as a product developer. We always like to get opinions from all over the place, and this is technical sales. We want to know what you guys are selling, what makes the most sense to sell to you. So Justin is the perfect guy to bring in here because he knows these products better than anybody.
Absolutely.
And where they start, again, the 3-1-in-1. I know those door sensors are probably a little outdated, but this was a basic picture of our 3-1-in-1 IQ4. This is where we start. This is where every sale starts. And again, I know most of you folks are selling the 3-1-in-1 systems out of the box and then adding on more devices. Hopefully, this webinar is going to explain a few more features and pieces of equipment that you may not have thought about adding on to your sales. So that's kind of the goal of this webinar today. We do have one more polling question for you here before we do get fully started. What's holding you back from selling more pieces of equipment? Is it consistency? You just like to sell the same package every time? Is it concern? You're worried that the payout on pushing another piece of equipment is going to kick the sale? Or consideration for your customers? You don't see the value in adding on any of these different types of pieces of equipment. And this is going almost exactly where I thought it was going to. And again, we've all been at that juncture in the sale where adding one more door, one more motion could potentially kick the sale. It looks like a lot of people are jumping into other as well. What's the consensus on other? What are we hearing?
So cost is looking
yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
Okay, cost to the customer or cost to you as a dealer?
Yeah, it looks like customer. So customers are pinching pennies lately. Robert Davis told us, which that's cost for customer to pay, cost to customer, cost. Yeah, so that's looking like the biggest kind of reoccurring theme here.
Okay, yeah. So that's actually I don't see the value in certain add-ons. If you don't see the value and the customer doesn't, I fully get it.
Oh, there's a good comment here from Anthony Sharpie. He says Reiki water valve, concerned on being held accountable in a power outage situation. So that's a good point. Somebody said selecting too much to add on, IQ Wi-Fi, the back end, and issues down the road. Yeah, a lot of stuff coming in here. So we'll have to go through all those comments, Johnny, after this.
Gotcha. Okay, good info. Thank you guys so much. Well, let's hop into the first piece of hidden equipment. Can you guys still see my screen and still see everything that's happening? Bo?
Oh, we lost your screen.
Lost the screen. We back. Back up.
Gotcha.
Cool. First piece of equipment we're going to talk about is the siren. Justin, we were talking before we started this webinar. Tell us a little bit about your experience with the indoor and the outdoor siren as well. Just kind of an overview of how you use.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great addition to any system. We use both the indoor and the outdoor. Outdoor is great with the strobe. It's just been really good. We keep them on the trucks. Our techs upsell them, so it's been a great product for us.
Excellent. And this is something you sell mostly in commercial spaces or on the residential side?
Both, but definitely we try to put an outdoor on every commercial installation that we do.
Yeah.
At least one.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, and again, guys, these are things that monitor carbon monoxide. You can use it for burglary, flooding. It's in a big space, larger homes, great applications in larger homes, commercial spaces, they're almost required. And to Justin's point, putting one outside is also very helpful as well in the commercial space. I think we're going to hop onto the next product. This one, you may think you know what it is, but you may not. This is actually the outdoor door sensor. And this has a lot of different applications that you could use. This is actually a picture of a coworker of ours using it on their gate in their backyard, just in case one of their kids ever gets out and pops through the door. But yeah, Justin, have you placed any of these in some of your other commercial and residential customers in the past couple of months?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they work great on gates. Primarily is what we use a lot of them for, and for that notification to know when something's open, or to trigger a video clip, or other types of triggers you can use them for. But they work great. The reception's great on them. We have real low service calls after we've installed them, so we've been really happy.
That's great. Yeah, and Joel, you actually were telling us right before we started here about some other applications you can use an outdoor sensor for. Can you kind of dig into that a little bit?
Yeah, I have these on all of my gates that lead to the outside of my house, and I have a 2-year-old who's constantly trying to break out. So for me, it's mainly a notification thing. Like we just mentioned a moment ago, I want to know anytime that gate's open. And at night, I have all of my outdoor lights are on a Z-Wave light, right? So I have a rule that says after sundown, if any of these gates are open or those sensors are triggered, then all of my lights kick on for 20 minutes. So it's outside of an alarm triggering device. It's just great for getting those notifications, or even triggering an automation through alarm.com.
That's great. Yeah, and it's a much more direct thing to turn your lights on as opposed to a motion detector where a rabbit runs through the backyard and your backlights are popping on all night. So yeah, it's a great use case for it. For you folks outside of New England, that top right picture is a thing we call a bulkhead. It's in New England, and that's how you get into your basement from the outdoors. Anybody selling in places that have bulkheads as well, this is kind of the required outdoor sensor that you would want to use on something like that as well. Well, let's hop into the next piece of equipment. This is one that Justin sells regularly. This is the 360 motion. Definitely want to dig into some of the features of this here, but Justin, if you could tell us how you use this in the commercial side, that'd be great.
Yeah, 100%. They've been great for commercial. The range, for one, with it being Power G, has been, we've been able to put in large commercial spaces. But it also solves a problem. Before we've seen like the corner mounted motions. Certain things can block those, and it causes them to not work properly. Where a 360 you can get up in the middle of a warehouse, and it's going to cover the whole area very well.
Yeah, it covers a lot of square footage. And for larger spaces, 2 or 3 of these things as opposed to one on almost every single corner. And to your point, things getting blocked. If you are protecting something like a warehouse, how often do they shift around where those racks go? You know, you can have a motion up there for 20 years, no one knows, and they build a rack in front of it. It's never triggering anything. So great solution for commercial spaces, also used residentially. I can actually give my own personal case study. We did an installation a couple of months back at the Lieutenant Michael P. Murphy Museum in Sayville, New York. We're going to have some more information about that coming out as well. And one of the key points of that meeting, I asked what the best piece of equipment, and we're talking, they've gotten cameras, motion detectors, doors, flood sensors, IQ Pro panel, which is not even out yet, a whole bunch of stuff plugged into this museum. And I said, we have all of our best technology here from Johnson Controls. What's the best piece of equipment that you think you're going to use the most of? And he said the motion detectors. And I didn't even put this into perspective, but in a commercial space, especially something like a museum, he uses the motion detectors to track each display. So each one of the displays has a motion detector that lets him know what traffic looks like, what the foot traffic is like, how many people are standing in each one of the displays, and basically how to staff his business. So he's getting business information from a security device all through the alarm.com app. So way more applications than just simple intrusion when it comes to motion detection. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you do have somebody who's running a small business that wants to track what the foot traffic looks like, it's a small cafe, coffee place, pizza shop, and you throw something in there, throw them a motion, and it'll tell them, give them good business data as far as when they need to staff, how many people they need to have on, etc. And now we're hopping into a piece of equipment that I am not very well experienced with, but I'm learning a lot about it today from Joel. So Joel, if you could talk a little bit about the shock. Again, I'm a noob. I don't know much about this shock sensor here, but from what you're telling me, it's got a bunch of great features built in.
Yes. So it's actually the thing about this is the name describes exactly what it does, right? So it actually it's a vibration detecting device. So one of the things that I really like about it is, I don't know if anyone has ever tried to break a window in their lifetime, but it's a bit more, it takes a bit more effort than what you would imagine. So what I'm getting at is, this is more of a preventative detection device. The first time someone hits the door or a window and they strike it, this is going to detect that vibration and trigger an alarm back to the panel. So it, as the second line there says, it's great for early detection, right? It's actually going to help prevent damage and additional costs incurred by vandalism or something like that, right? But the other cool thing about this device is it's more what I consider of a tri-zone device, because it's not only a shock detector, but it has a read switch and an external input. So you can use all three of those in conjunction and detect multiple things. You can not only detect the vibration of the door being kicked or something like that, but you can also detect it opening and closing. And if you have an external, like a hard wire contact, you can wire right to that as well. So a lot of different uses you can use for this, or different applications you can use for this device. So it's great.
Yeah, this definitely blew my mind when I started researching it, and I kind of wondering why we weren't selling more of it. And in our conversation prior to the webinar starting up, we were talking about false alarms setting through this. So if somebody did want to get into start replacing all of their door sensors with shock sensors, so they do have that quantified solution for each one of the doors or all the exterior doors, can you kind of walk us through how to eliminate as many false alarms with something like a shock sensor as possible?
It's going to be a basic answer. It's going to be proper installation and proper programming.
Cool. Tell us how to do that.
Yeah. So you absolutely want to make sure that the device fits the application. So nothing absurd that's going to be the cause of false alarms. People from getting hit often, or from an animal maybe jumping up and hitting the device and registering a shock that would seem greater than it actually is because they're hitting the device itself. And then also setting the thresholds properly. So we actually have a 7-segment display right on the sensor, so you can do local testing, so you can see what a thump or a hit is registering on the device, and be able to adjust it properly or accordingly with the size of the window and where and how it's mounted. So with all those things, if you do it properly, false alarms are very tough.
Cool. Yeah, I know that's probably going to be why most people some folks that are going to see this and kind of back away and say, I've done that, had to come back. And again, what we talked about before, anything that's going to kick a sale is not something you want to have in your truck or getting installed. So I completely understand that, but you heard it here. Turn down the sensitivity and you have a much better holistic solution with one product as opposed to three. It's doing three jobs. So great piece of equipment. Again, I never really looked too much into it because we were just doing your basic doors and motions. So great piece of equipment. I think this is the last piece we have here. I think everyone probably knows what it is just by the, the shape. This is the IQ Flood. We released this a few years back. It works great. This is a device that you could put under anywhere that you have flowing water or drainage, basements. We're talking, water treatment systems, water heaters under every single sink that's in the home. Justin, you said that you guys were selling some of this, and again, commercial, residential. Can you kind of give us your experience with putting flood sensors in and what the answers have been with what you've been getting back from customer feedback?
Yeah, I mean, it gives overall customers just peace of mind knowing that there's that extra layer of protection there, especially when paired with that shutoff valve. Getting it under everywhere there's water flow, sinks, laundry rooms, kitchens, toilets, have been kind of how we've rolled them out. They work well. We have a lot of customers that have second homes, especially those second home situations where they're not there all the time to even see a leak that could possibly spring up. So we've had really good success with that as well. But yeah, that's a great device. It works well, and haven't had issues with reception with them either. I know there's a Power G one too. Is that what we're looking at, or is this the IQ?
Yep, yeah, the Power G. This is still the IQ one, but the Power G. Any one of these water sensors will connect with the water valve.
And they work. Yeah, the Power G has been working really well too.
Yeah, again, if anybody has experience installing those water valves, I know that we had some in the chat prior to that. The device is great. If the beauty of the IQ Flood with the water valve is you can put them all over the house. Signal is great on them with Power G. All of it's going to tie back to that main water valve. And for folks who don't know what the water valve is, I think we did a presentation on that a couple of months ago. The water valve basically is a no plumber needed. If you have a technician or yourself, you should be able to install it pretty easily. Find the customer's home water or business water main shutoff. It plugs onto the pipe, goes over the shutoff valve. Anytime one of the water sensors is tripped, the valve closes autonomously and sends you an alert and lets you know. That's why when Justin said the vacation homes, it's pretty important for people that are only going to those homes 2 or 3 months out of the entire year. It's the best possible way. I mean, think of how many folks that have had flooded homes. This kind of eliminates that. Not whole, 100%, but if you're putting these water sensors, flood sensors everywhere that water is coming in and going out, that's the majority of where pipes burst, things like that. So again, this pairing could increase your sales. The water valve itself kind of sells itself. I have a friend who's a dealer. He said every time he's in a home with a customer, he asks them to show him where their water valve is. Every single person that has said, I don't even know where that is, he's been able to sell one of these devices to, because if they don't know where it is, how are they going to shut it off? Not only do they not need to know where it is, they just know that we're going to shut it off, which is a great thing to be able to pitch to somebody. So I think today we're pretty much done looking at these 5.
Hey, Johnny, we got some questions with regards to the flood sensor and the Power G flood detector. So first question here, how does the IQ flood sensor differ from the Power G flood detector? So what's the difference between the IQ, the S line, and the Power G sensor?
I think Joel might know the answer to that better than me.
Yeah, it's mainly frequency. So the Power G sensor operates off of the Power G spectrum, which is frequency hopping spread spectrum, so between 915 and 919, and the S line operates off of an encrypted 319 frequency. So that's the main difference.
A little bit further range on the Power G, right? Because we've used them on larger homes for that reason, just to not to get that distance that we needed.
Exactly. Cool. We got a couple more questions, comments, Johnny. I'm just going to hit them here. Anthony told us in reference to the water valve, he says, I have this on my home and I got a discount on my homeowner's insurance. So that's a really important point, right? There are some insurance companies that will offer discounts to your customers for having this product in their home. And there is an instance that I've heard of instances where insurance companies wouldn't even insure a home. You know, in those coastal, back on the East Coast, there was a person that came to us and they couldn't even get insurance on their home, but once they were able to get some flood detectors and a water valve in there, they were able to actually get insurance on their home and get a really good premium there. So thank you, Anthony, for bringing that up. Patrick asks us, is there a Power G water valve now available instead of Z-Wave? So currently we only have the Z-Wave option. I believe, Joel, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe kind of future roadmap, we are hoping to put Power G inside of the water valve. Does that sound about right, Joel?
It's on the roadmap.
It's on the roadmap, so it's there. Another question here. Could the flood sensor be used to alert when a holding tank is full? I don't see why not. I think you could use that.
Holding tank for what?
I think just like a water holding tank, right? Like that's storing water. I don't know. Kurt, we might need a little bit more clarification there, but I don't see why you wouldn't be able to use it in that situation. We got lots of questions kind of coming in here. Sorry, let me sort through and see some that might be beneficial to the whole group.
Sure.
Okay, this is a question. I guess, sorry, Johnny, you kind of wrapped up those devices. So questions are coming in. So here's one here on the shock sensor. Does a door contact connected to the aux input and the shock sensor technology report individually back to the panel, and we program to 2 different zones? Joel, we might need
I'll answer that. It depends on the platform you're enrolled in. So if it's a DSC platform like Neo or Power Series Pro, it's all the same zone. If it's an IQ platform, they can be independent zones.
Great, thank you. So Forrest, he says, explain no plumber required on the water valve. Great question, Forrest. So we had Jason Horton, one of our TAMs, he did a webinar a little while back on the IQ water valve, and he had his 5-year-old son install it. It's very easy. There's 2 little clamps and then you have the little mechanism that goes on the water shutoff valve, 2 little clamps on the pipe. It's easy, super simple. You don't have to get out to call a plumber to come and install it. So just saving money and just kind of a better solution there. Another question here. Sorry, Johnny, I'll let you talk. I'll let you or we might need Joel on this one. Outdoor door sensor doubles as a temperature detector. Please explain.
So I can take that. A couple of these devices that we show and others that we make also have other technologies built in, like the outdoor sensor has a temperature detecting sensor built in, so it can report it back to the panel. Right now, currently, the only panel that's utilizing that is the Power Series Pro, and it'll show in the star menu on the keypad. In the future, we look to use that information for reporting ambient temperature to, say, the panel or to the back end like alarm.com and be able to use that temperature detection and reporting for additional notifications and automations. But today, really the only panel that's utilizing that is Power Series Pro.
Thank you, Joel. Another question here, Joel, we might need your help with. I think referring back to water valve, says, is the valve actuated automatically periodically to ensure functionality?
So that's if you're using alarm.com, that's a feature built into alarm.com. It can be a rule set up to where it'll on a schedule, it'll turn on and turn off or work the valve. So that way, if you have, like where I'm at in Florida, we get a lot of calcium. So it's, one of those things that's recommended that you turn your valves every so often or periodically, so that way they don't get gunked up with too many minerals. So that is something that alarm.com does have built in once you add the water valve. If you're not using alarm.com, I'm not really sure how you would be able to automate that feature with other platforms.
Cool. Thank you, Joel. Thank you. One maybe last question that might be beneficial to the entire group. I'm not sure what we're referring to here, but when will the wireless PGM and or relay be available? Joel, do you have any insight into that?
Well, technically speaking, we have a wireless PGM today that's compatible with the IQ platform, and that's what we call the W2W, or the hardwire Power G, the IQ hardwire Power G. It has 4 PGMs built in. So, I mean, technically speaking, that is your wireless output module. It's also an input module. It also has a core bus, so it does a few different things.
Should have covered that
Great,
one on this.
Joel.
The hardwired Power G is going to be a superhero coming in the next couple of months. So.
Geez, Kay, I think we got, if we didn't get your question here and Joel wasn't able to get it in the chat, we will do some follow-up to kind of answer it. There are some questions in there that may be better if we answer them one-on-one, but I think for the most part, we covered most of those questions there in the chat, Johnny.
Yeah, there's going to have to be a lot of follow-up. I can't keep up with the questions coming in. They're just rolling in. I'm way behind.
Yes, sir. No, we will we'll do some follow-up to you guys if we didn't answer your question here. We will make sure we get you some answers.
Yeah, just one more slide. Actually, we have a quick poll just to finish this out today. So out of the secret items you guys have seen today, which one do you think you're going to add to your quiver out of everything? Are you going to start selling more sirens, outdoor contacts, the motions? Man, everyone's afraid of that shock sensor. There we go. This is great insight. And Justin, yourself, what do you think you're going to start selling more of? I know you guys are already doing a lot of these pieces of equipment already, but
I'd say the shock sensor, because we haven't sold a lot of those, and that looks like a really great device. So I think we're going to definitely be selling more of those in the near future here.
cool. It looks like the outdoor contact. Yeah, that's that outdoor contact has a lot of different applications that you could put it on, as far as gates go, and even garage doors, things like that. So a lot of different uses for a lot of these products. Looks like it's probably going to be able to wrap this up. And today we actually have a really fun giveaway. We're giving away these 5 products to somebody on our list. So for one of the attendees here today, we're going to be giving away a siren. We're going to be giving away 360 motion, a shock sensor. So Justin, I'm actually going to have you do the honors. If you could pull we have 100 people on here. If you could pull a number between 1 and 100, let me know, and we will find that person, and we will send these items out to them. So yeah, give me a number between 1 and 100.
Let's go with 33.
33. Gavin Harner. Gavin Harner, if you want to enter your contact information down there in the chat or send us a direct message, that'd be great. We'd love to get back in touch with you and be able to send this stuff out to you. Very cool. I mean, this is one of the cooler giveaways. We always give away a Wi-Fi device or a camera or something. This one's pretty fun. So hopefully you guys are enjoy this webinar today. We kind of covered a lot. Appreciate everybody for hopping on. Again, this is being recorded. It is going to be getting posted up on YouTube. Joel, thank you so much for answering the technical stuff. Justin, thanks so much for joining on. Bo, thank you so much for manning the chat. If you guys have anything else to add, please let me know.
One quick plug, Gavin, we have your email. We will reach out to you. So just watch for an email from us to get your info. And that's all I got.
Very cool. Yeah, if there's no more questions, thank you guys. Thank you, Joel. Thanks, Justin. Thank you, Bo. And take care.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.